Dr. Wessels here. Do you have a few minutes for your sales development? Let's talk about advanced questions and advanced questioning techniques. By now you've got your questions built. You've written them down even. You're listening and responding to questions. You're annoying your family. Time to add some polish and power. Let's look at one of these, and we call this one the anchor question. Now, in today's busy world, it's increasingly important to start off a customer visit with some impact. This anchor question starts things rolling and holds the conversation on point. Now, I'm going to demonstrate the question, and then we're going to break it down into a format that you can use. So here's an example from our business. Most people want to sell more. We help our clients get the skills they need to do just that. How are you training your people to sell more? Now, there are three parts to that question, and it's a credible statement, a value message, and an engagement question. The first part in the example is the credible statement, and this case is, most people want to sell more. Now, that's pretty hard to argue with. Even for the most snippy yeah but guy, the guy who hears the sky is blue and he says yeah but it's at night, not at night, even that guy doesn't have a valid point, partly because I said most. With a head nod or the absence of violent disagreement, I go on to the next part, which is the value message. Part 2 is the light, breezy, easy value proposition. In our case, it's we help our clients get the skills they need to do just that. Now, with this statement, I motivate the reason for the first statement, which they already agree with. Most people want to sell more, and we help them. Now, you can almost hear the customer thinking, okay, go on. At this point, the anchor's down, and now we set it. The third part of the question is designed to start that conversation in that direction. We say, how are you? And we fill in the blank or the topic of the discovery question. In our case, we ask, how are you training your team to sell more? The third part needs to be engineered to do two things. The first thing it needs to do is sidestep that standard, we don't need your stuff, we already have it. Invoke the conversation about how they're doing these things so that you can hunt for deficits and pain points is the second thing it does. Now, the elegance of the how question at the end is that it requires one of two answers. On the one hand, the customer will describe what they're doing, right? We need that description. That tells us a lot about what we want to know. And on the other hand, the customer could say, we're not doing that, which is some very helpful information. You see, given that you have a strong premise and they agreed with it, you're likely to get customers' implied agreement that the topic is important. And notice the art here. You didn't tell the customer that your premise is important to them and they need to work on it. You stated that most or many people like them are working on it. When you ask them how they are like the people in their same position, they will identify with your premise and by implication agree that it's important. If something's important, it gets done. That reminds me, I need to feed my fish and pay my mortgage. The summary is, anchor questions get you in the zone to get a conversation started in the direction we want to go. It has three parts: a credible statement, then a value message, which is tied to that statement, and an implied problem question, preferably a how question that gets the customer talking about their situation. Using this question gets the customer to talk about something they may not have been thinking about doing, and it has the ability to create a new priority by suggesting that working on what we want them to work on is actually important. And this helps us tremendously, because the only thing we can't make more of is time. So sell well.